My biggest win with the journey has been that inner peace and just that fundamental knowing that I've got full purpose and a great deal more happiness.
That was amazing for me, and actually for my whole family. Allowed us to keep this open mind on life and to open to all the opportunities.
I have so much more freedom and self-connection and health and vibrancy. I just feel more alive.
The journey helped me to understand what my emotions are, not to be scared of them.
It changed my life. It cleared all blocks and brought into my consciousness what my heart's desire was.
Now I feel my life is easier. I feel stronger, feel what I feel and find a new solution.
To be free from the burden on my shoulders. I live in the moment now, and I'm open to my emotions from the highest to the lowest.
Until the journey, I didn't really know that I could get to the same depths without using any substance. It's getting easier and easier to connect to the deepest part of myself.
Probably the biggest improvement is my inner life or my inner freedom to be as myself, in myself, not being a victim of circumstances and the other people.
The journey has really been a second chance in life for me. Having permission to dive deep and find out who the real authentic me was and just to be that person has just been wonderful.
When you listen to yourself and when you really touch your soul, something magical happens.
Life is different because of the journey. I feel I have all the tools I need to face whatever life throws at me. Life has become fun.
My biggest win was healing a broken heart, and not once, many times. I would never have been able to be in the position that I am in now had it not been for the journey.
Befriending myself in really accepting who I am, that I am perfectly imperfect and I don't need fixing.
I've gained so much. So there is no one big win. If it had to be named as one thing, I would just say it's life-changing.
It's changed my world, it's changed my life, it's changed me. And it's allowed me to be open and vulnerable and completely transparent.
My biggest win since attending the Journey Intensive has been finding myself. It has been healing, transforming.
I am just so much more receptive and open to whatever God has planned for me. At the very core of me, being able to experience that peace has been priceless.
Hello, good evening to everybody. Thank you so much for making the time. My name's Daniel Wagner. I've been with the journey for almost 10 years now. And today we're in for a treat. We got Brandon Bays with us live. It's one of these rare occasions where Brandon can make time and speak to us and share with us the journey that led to becoming the journey. And not just that, she's here to not only teach, but also give you some experiences, hopefully enough of an experience that you are really keen to learn more and go to the next step. I just want to acknowledge that people are here from all over the world. I see different countries from London, Sweden, Germany, all the way to Vancouver, Canada. Thank you for joining us. Whenever we do these live events, I just become aware that through the internet, of course, we're all connected, and yet we might be all over the world, yet we have the same issues. We're dealing with the same problems, the very human problems of fear, of anxiety, of helplessness, purposelessness. And in my experience over the last 10 years, the journey has helped not just me, but tens of thousands of people to clear, to heal, and to give meaning and purpose to people's lives. Brandon has been at the forefront and been a pioneer of this body-mind healing space that now has become quite well known. But when she started over 30 years ago, she was a lone voice in a sea of people needing that work. And this is why I'm so excited she's here with us tonight. I will be speaking to you at the end, answering any questions you might have. And I'm really, really happy to hand over to Brandon to guide us through a beautiful evening. Welcome, Brandon. Thank you for having us, and I look forward to the night session.
And a heartfelt welcome to everyone here, and thank you, Daniel. And you know, I love it that the topic for this, the theme that we have tonight, is about anxiety and stress. And it seems like when you look at all the friends that you have and the family members and all the people in the wider world, it seems that all of us have felt ramped up in the last decade, what with wars going on in Ukraine and Israel, and then there's all the COVID that took place, and many of us lost our jobs, and a lot of divorces took place during that time. I read a statistic that the divorce lawyers were saying that they had such a deluge of divorces take place because people were in lockdown together. No one had given any of us a manual how to deal with that. And then having to homeschool children, not being able to go to work, perhaps having their salaries cut down as a result of that. And not to mention the natural disasters that have been ongoing for the last decade. It seems as climate change has happened, there's been a deluge of them happening, most recently in Texas with that terrible flood that took so many lives, and in the children's camp. And, the wildfires that have been happening have become mega wildfires. And instead of being an occasional thing, they've become a yearly thing. And so it seems no matter where you turn to what's going on politically on the world stage, which can be very upsetting for a great many people, and what's happening in the microcosm of our own lives, it seems that the stress has just ramped up. And so I was really delighted when I was asked to give a teaching on this and an opening to discover what is the root of the stress that's going on in your life. Because it can seem like all these external things, these circumstances, these events that are completely out of our control, that we're absolutely helpless to, and yet they happen, is what's creating the stress. And yet, what I'm going to offer tonight is actually that stress was already stored inside of you. And then these external events are actually triggering us, on automatic pilot. It's causing us to react in a stressful manner. So, for instance, let's say you're in traffic and you've been on the freeway or the highway, the motorway, and it's been just chock-a-block. And then someone cuts you off and you find out of nowhere, up comes the rage. Well, the truth is, that person didn't come in the middle of the night and stick the rage inside of you. That rage was already there, and all they did was push your buttons, and whoop, up came the rage. Now, this is true in so many life circumstances, and it's almost as if life is conspiring to give us circumstances that are absolutely impossible and untenable, and we are being triggered constantly. And there's a reason for this. Science has found that when you feel a strong emotion and you repress it, it releases into your bloodstream a quantifiable biochemistry, which will go to certain cell receptors and block those cells, rendering those cells incapable with communicating with the rest of the cells in the body. And if over time illness happens, well, obviously it happens in the region of the body where the cells are blocked. What's also conversely known to be true is that when we feel our emotions very openly and freely, naturally, like a child does, our cell receptors remain open. And what they found is that when we have this strong emotion and we shut it down and we freeze, let's say our boss yells at us, and we just freeze. And in that moment of shock, of freezing, that biochemistry was released, going to certain cell receptors. Now, what gets stored in those cells is what you felt at that time. The way you felt so shamed, you felt criticized, humiliated, furious that the boss could talk to you like that, all the unspoken things that it wasn't appropriate to say at the time. And perhaps you were even so frozen by what happened, you couldn't even think what to say. And so all the unspoken words, all the pain, that fury, that feeling that it's not fair what is being done, that they don't get what's going on right now. All of those emotions, all of those words, they get programmed inside the cells. And before that cell generation dies off, it passes on its consciousness, its programming to the next cell generation. So the next cell generation is born as an exact replica of the previous cell generation. And so this programming gets passed on your whole life long, where it's buried inside the body. And so what happens is something external happens, it pushes your button, and where these cells are where all this pain, this consciousness, that programming is stored, it triggers you to respond. You know, many of you already know that over 30 years ago, I ended up, even though I was in the field of alternative health and complementary medicine, and I was certified and had so many degrees and accreditations and right across the board in the whole field of complementary medicine. And the last thing I ever expected to have happen was to be diagnosed with what turned out to be a basketball-sized tumor. And as you can imagine, it really sent me reeling because I was supposedly doing everything right, you know? And I'll never forget this. I was in the, doctor's office getting this diagnosis. And she said, Brandon, it probably started with something that happened when you were 8 years old. And then when those cells died, it passed it on to the next cell. And then towards the end of my journey, my cells were replicating at a very fast, aggressive speed. And so I went from just being a tiny bit unable to zip up my trousers to being quite ballooned up. And so she, this is the first thing she said to me, because it does start. It can start with just one cell that then replicates and replicates again and again. And so thankfully, even though I got diagnosed with this unbelievable I was stunned out of my mind to get such a diagnosis, it really catapulted me on a life-changing healing journey where for the next 6.5 weeks, I ended up being guided to go on a profound healing journey. And I'll never forget this. I was in her office and she had already said to me, you're bleeding internally. We're going to need to get you into hospital today. You're going to have to find out, is it malignant or benign? But it's not going to matter. You're going to have this tumor surgically removed. And, at this point, I'm panicking at hearing this. And I said, well, I'm in the complementary medical field, and I've been trained in so many areas. I'm a kinesiologist, a master herbalist. I've studied acupuncture. I'm in NLP. I'm a master NLP therapist, medical hypnosis. And I went on and on listing all the things. I studied homeopathy. And I said, if there's some way through one of my techniques I can get the bleeding to stop, how much time can you give me? And this surgeon said, Brandon, I know that you chose me because I practice integrative medicine, and attached to this clinic, we put people on cleanses, we practice homeopathy, we prescribe herbs, we have guided visualizations, we even have yoga. And she said, if I thought that you could go that route, that is the first route I would recommend for you. But look at all these case studies behind me. All these books are loaded with case studies of women who've had tumors. And there's not a single one who's had a tumor as large as yours who successfully healed herself. So even though I practice integrative medicine, and it's the first thing I would recommend, in your particular case, I feel that we need to get you into hospital today. I'm not the one that can do the surgery. I'm way too booked. You just have to take whoever you can get. And I spoke with her for another half hour. And finally, after a half hour, she agreed that if I could, through one of my techniques, get the bleeding to stop over the next 3 days, then she would give me exactly 1 month to give it my best shot. And if I wasn't significantly healed in that time, then I would have to come back and let her do what she knew how to do, which was surgically remove it. And I was leaving her clinic there, which is it was in downtown LA. I'm from New York, but at that point I was living in Malibu, California. And so I was leaving her clinic and I was holding my best friend's hand. And when I had received the news, and I was already doing everything I believed in, everything that I knew of in the field of complementary medicine, and I'd still gotten this tumor. And so at this point, having received the news, my heart's going a million miles a minute. My mind is just out of control. It's just scrambled thoughts. I can't think straight. And I'm holding my best friend's hand, and I walk outside the door of this doctor's office, and in front of me is a mimosa tree, a tree I hadn't even noticed going into her office. And I looked up at this tree, and it had golden blossoms that looked like golden rain. And as I looked at that tree, it was as if time just stopped. And I was absolutely in awe of the beauty of this tree. And my racing thinking mind that was going a million miles a minute, it started to wind down and it just fell away. And as I was standing there looking at these beautiful golden blossoms, out of nowhere, waves of gratitude came flooding. Gratitude for the ability just to see these beautiful golden blossoms, to smell a scent I hadn't even smelled going into her offices. Gratitude just to be allowed to breathe. And as I was resting in this gratitude, everything became still. And out of nowhere came a gut knowing. Somehow I would be guided to heal. And even though I didn't know how that would be, I was so grateful for all the work going on in the field of cellular healing in that time, which has subsequently even gone on. And specifically for the work of Dr. Deepak Chopra at that time. And he was not the teacher that he's become today. Back then, 30 years ago, he was a chief surgeon general for a hospital in Boston. And he did a radical thing as a surgeon. He decided, you know what, we know enough about what causes people to get ill and eventually to die. He said, I want to know what causes them to heal without medical intervention. What is it that causes that? And so he amassed hundreds and ultimately thousands of case studies of people who had healed without drugs or surgery from serious illness. And in correlating all these case studies together, he could only find that they had 2 qualities in common. One was that through some act of grace or spontaneous event, they actually got access to this that he called the infinite intelligence, the part of you that makes your heart beat, your eyes shine, and your hair grow. And the second quality that they had in common was that through some act of grace, spontaneously, they somehow ended up inside their body and got access to this that he called the cell memory at that time. And if somehow they not only accessed that cell memory, but they released and let go of what was there, when the new cell generation was born, it was born devoid of that old consciousness, devoid of that old programming, as a new regenerative cell. I remember him sharing how there was this one man who was up on a rooftop, And he got struck by lightning, and it shot through his body and out through his leg. He ended up rolling off the roof, and when he hit the ground, it defibrillated his heart. And they got him to the hospital, but he went into coma, but came out of coma after a few months and shared that while he was there, he opened into a vast field of light, of love, of presence of the divine, that he experienced as being everywhere. And then he went back into coma, and this happened a few times. And after a year, he came fully out of coma. And he was convinced that he would regrow back his leg. And it took another year, but he did. And so somehow he'd gotten access to this vast field of love, of peace, that is your own essence. And somehow he was guided to release what was stored there, so that when new cells were born, they were born as new regenerative cells. And so each person found their way to what I call source, to the infinite intelligence, this that is your own essence. And if somehow, in being open in this presence of enlightened awareness that is your own soul, you are guided somewhere inside the body to these old repressed cell memories, and you somehow go through a process of release and letting go. When the new cell generation is born, it was born devoid of that. Now, I knew all of this. I had not only studied with Chopra, but I'd actually seen the case studies with my own eyes. But the truth is, you can know all the science on the planet. You can understand how spontaneously you might miraculously open into the light of your own soul, into that vast field of awareness that is your own essence. And that you can understand how it might be possible to spontaneously be guided inside the body to somehow release what's there. But unless you have a method, it is no more than a very inspiring possibility and statistics written on a page. And that's where I stood when I stood in front of that mimosa tree. I had this gut knowing somehow I would be guided to heal. And even though I didn't have a clue how that was, because I was already living, breathing, doing everything that was available out there, I still felt this unmistakable inner guidance. And so the gift of my own healing journey was that in 6.5 weeks' time, I healed from this basketball-sized tumor. I ended up in Cedars-Sinai Hospital in LA, and I was pronounced textbook perfect clean, completely tumor-free. But it was quite a radical and life-changing healing journey I underwent. And through my own healing journey, I found a way for all of us to get in touch with that infinite intelligence, that part of you that makes your heart beat, that part of you that is making your cells replicate in this moment, that part of you that makes it possible for you to see through your eyes, for your hair to grow, that infinite intelligence. And in opening into that infinite awareness that is yourself, you are guided by that infinite intelligence to specific cellular locations. And not only do you uncover the old programming there, the old cell memory, the old pain, the shame, the blame, the hurt, the anger, whatever's there, but you go through a gentle but very deep process of releasing that stored consciousness, all that pain. And through the process, you come to an understanding of what really happened to you at that time. And ultimately, you come to an acceptance. And you go through a deep process of forgiveness. And something magical happens. When you forgive, that's when you let go of your old story of me and my pain. So that when new regenerative cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. Now, this work, the journey over the last 30 years, has been taken on board by the medical field and by psychiatrists, by people from all walks of life, both alternatively and medically. As a matter of fact, I just today received a medical doctor wrote me from Israel sharing that she had pancreatic cancer. And could she undergo the journey? And indeed, in Israel, there are 3 hospitals that once, let's say you have a heart attack and you undergo the surgery that you absolutely must undergo, then they put you into a recovery center for a week there. And you go through the journey so you can get to the emotional root cause. What co-created the heart attack in the first place? I mean, we all know. You don't need to be a doctor to know that there's stress there for a heart attack to happen, right? And with the journey, you get to the root cause, not just that there's stress there, but what created the stress in the first place. And you go through this deep process of healing and release and forgiveness and letting go. And so they're undergoing journey work during that week. And they have found in following the people for years that their instance of having another heart attack is greatly lessened. As a matter of fact, they have a team of scientists following what's happening, not only in that hospital, but in the hospital that has the oncology unit for cancer. So, for instance, people will undergo cancer treatment and then a week long that they will take to undergo the journey to really clear the emotional corollary of what co-created the cancer. It's why my surgeon knew 30 years ago that it probably started with one cell memory, because this teaching of what gets passed down through our cells gets passed on generationally. And has been passed down through the last decades and can even be passed down generationally from your parents and whatever traumas they've gone through. And so there's a 3rd hospital where there are people with fibromyalgia and with not osteoporosis, another one. They too, people who are suffering with degenerative illnesses where it's going to make them crippled, are finding that not only are they healing from these degenerative illnesses, but they are finding that they are actually able to walk again, and they get out of their wheelchairs over the course of the year. And so there's actually a documentary being shot about all the beautiful work going on in these hospitals where they're following the patients and the cancer is not metastasizing again, the fibromyalgia is being healed, the heart disease is not returning. And so it's a beautiful invitation to all of us that we all have these cell memories stored inside. We've had some trauma happen, some pain happen, some shutdown happen, and then they're stored inside. And obviously, my prayer is that we give ourselves a wake-up call before it ends up manifesting as illness or disease. And so today the topic is stress. And I'm sure you're aware, if you are listening to your body at all, that there's been a huge amount of stress recently. And in the last recent years, a lot of it triggered by external circumstances, but also that stress is already inside of you. And I'd love to do a little, divine experiment here, just a little discovery where you can kind of go inside and we'll just do a gentle little process here. We're going to go to a memory that's happened recently where you had a stressed reaction. Perhaps someone said something and you felt criticized and you shut down or you lashed out. Or perhaps you got some upsetting news that someone died or a loved one was lost. Or perhaps you got news that something happened at work or there's been financial stress happening. Perhaps there's a divorce maybe brewing and you're stressed because it hasn't really been talked about, but you can feel that something's going on. And so all of us have had stressful moments where we read the news and we just feel helpless to change anything. And so just if you'll try this little experiment with me, I'd love for you just to open with the possibility that it might not be the external circumstances that is the root cause of your stress, that there may be something deeper stored inside of you. And so if you'd like to try with me, just an experiment right now, let's take a nice deep breath in, letting it out, and closing your eyes. And taking a moment right now to blow out of this room any stress you've had today. And blowing into this room an openness to listen to yourself. Take a deep breath in of openness and blowing that into the room. And the willingness just to explore what's going on in your life and in your body. Just taking a deep breath in of willingness to explore. And trust. Trust in yourself. Trust that your body will never give you something you're not ready to face. Trust that your soul actually wants you to heal. It's what brought you here, to be present for this. Trusting in life, in grace. Breathe trust into this room. And now letting your heart be as wide as the world. Wide enough to welcome some of the stressful moments that you've had over the last months and maybe over the last 6 months. That's how vast this vast open sky of all acceptance is. And so it's vast and open and spacious in front of you, and free and spacious and vast behind. Endless and spacious to all sides. And boundless below. And you're just resting in a vast open sky of all acceptance and welcoming into this open sky some time it could have happened yesterday, it could have happened in the last week, the last month, the last 6 months, where you had a stressful response. Someone said something, some circumstance happened, you received some news, something took place that was out of your control, and where you had what you know was a stressful reaction. You either shut down or you lashed out, or perhaps you felt so intimidated you withdrew and you just played the incident over again and again in your own mind. You know what I'm talking about when you have a stressful reaction. You either freeze in the face of the stress, or you withdraw, or you go to your mind and kind of deny that it all happened and pretend it wasn't that big a deal, only you don't believe it, so you keep playing the scene over and over again. Or you reacted by lashing out at somebody or something in upset or anger. So find a time recently where you have had this stressed reaction and bring it up in your awareness. And now step into that memory and feel what it felt like to feel that stressed reaction, the lashing out, the gut churning withdrawal, the freezing, and then just feeling these butterflies in your stomach, the feeling like you want to run away from it. Go ahead and step into that memory and feel what you were feeling in your body at that time. How your stress reaction manifested. For some of us, it's kind of like we get solid and frozen, and then we get these butterflies and a sick feeling in our gut. For others of us, we shut down and then we lash out, and then our heart starts to pound. With others of us, we feel like running away. Just notice and observe your body's reaction. And now roll the cameras back to that millisecond before you reacted to that impulse to react in that way. There was a drive to react in that way. Go to the impulse and then roll the cameras back just the moment before the impulse to react came up, and just open with what you were feeling at that time. Prior to the impulse to react, what were you feeling? Just feel like you're stretching time. You're opening. And what is it you're really feeling before the impulse to react happened? And even if you're not sure what you were feeling, what might you be feeling? And just allowing all that feeling, whatever it is, to come flooding. And asking innocently if there were a deeper emotion hidden in the core of this more surface feeling. I wonder what that deeper feeling might be. And just opening and allowing whatever that deeper feeling might be. It may not be at all what you're expecting. And just being present to it, accepting, allowing whatever's here. And if there were an even deeper feeling in the core of that feeling, I wonder what emotion might be here. Even if you're not sure what it is, what might it be? And whisper out loud into your room, whatever that feeling is, or whatever it might be. And now taking a deep breath in of acceptance and flooding all the feelings with acceptance, and come to neutral. And once again, the heart is as wide as the world, a vast field of acceptance that you're bathing in. Taking a nice deep breath in and opening your eyes. And if you kind of just did this little experiment, you probably noticed that there was the reaction, but the reaction was simply a reaction. And that there was a drive to react in that way as a form of protection, to defend. And prior to that drive, there was something you were really feeling. And if you were able to open and go deeper, you may have found that there were deeper emotions there. And so even though the reaction was what it was, it's being driven by a deeper feeling. And so if I had to describe in a nutshell, what is the journey in itself as a metaphor? The best way I could describe it is to say that we all come into this world as this radiant, shining awareness, as a vast field of love, of peace, of oneness, where we feel ourselves to be connected and at one with all of existence. As a matter of fact, science will tell you that in the first hours and days of after your birth, that the infant, you will have felt yourself to be this vast field of love permeating everything. And when mother's hand came before your eyes, you felt mother's hand as part of you, not separate from you, that all of life is happening in this field of oneness. But unfortunately, through the course of life's pains and trials, this radiant, vast field of love, of enlightened awareness, it gets covered over with a series of lies, limitations, pains, shutdowns. And it could be something simple, like you're 3 years old and you're crying about something, and your mother says, come on, we got to dry these tears. We've got to get to nursery school. And the little you gets it, oh, I'm not allowed to feel, at least not the ones with the tears. And the first involuntary, automatic shutdown happens. Now you start shutting one emotion down and you end up starting to shut down all emotions. I can remember I grew up in a very domestically violent childhood. And part of the way I used to escape was into my children's books. And I used to love reading my children's stories. And of course, if you love reading as much as I did, you become a good reader and a good speller. And I got chosen to represent the 8-year-olds in my elementary school in the 3rd grade in a county-wide spelling bee, that all the schools were coming together, all the parents, the teachers, the students were all coming together in this massive auditorium. And I was representing our school as a 3rd grader. And I can remember standing on that stage, and I'd already spelled 3 difficult words. And then they gave me one of the easiest words in the English language, the word fleet. But I'd never seen that word in any of the books I'd read. But I had seen the word flea, an insect. And I said, F-L-E-A-T. And the whole audience was hushed. And then it erupted into laughter. Now, no one had ever given me a manual. How do you deal with mass humiliation in front of all your friends and the teachers and the parents? And I looked at my mom, who was sitting in the 3rd row, for support. And she looked at me as if I was the greatest disappointment in her life, and just shook her head and went, and it was like this wall just came slamming down inside of me. And I retreated to the back of the stage where the other losers were. And that day I decided, I'm just so stupid. I'm just a laughing stock. I'll never be good at anything I do. I'll never succeed at anything. I'm just too stupid. It's like this, layer upon layer upon layer. I can remember I was 16 years old and I got this massive crush on this guy, and I tried to impress him. And of course, I made an utter fool of myself. And I watched the first love of my life running out of my life, and I was running after him. And that day, I decided, I'm so unattractive. I'm so undeserving of love. No one will ever love me that I'm attracted to. I'm just not worthy of love. And it's like this, layer upon layers of shutdowns, lies, and limitations. And then when we get to be adults, and it doesn't matter which of the 39 countries that I travel to that we offer the Journey seminars in, because the Journey has been offered in 39 countries. It's translated in 22 languages. It was a massive bestseller back in the day. And so no matter what country or culture I'm in, and it doesn't matter what our religious beliefs are, everyone has learned as adults to put on this mask, to put on this hardened veneer that we present to the world, where we're saying, no, I'm an adult, you can count on me, I'm responsible, I'm reliable. And so we put this mask on. And then life gives us a wake-up call. And these wake-up calls can come in so many forms. They can come in the form of a loss of a loved one, the form of a war, what form of a divorce. It can come in the form of, in my case, a serious illness, where for one moment you decide now to get real. And you end up cracking through this mask that you've been presenting to the world. And you end up opening down through the layers of the lies, the pain, the shutdown. And eventually you end up opening into this vast field of love that is your essence, of enlightened awareness that you came in as. And you realize it's been there all along. Only like me, you bought into all the layers and covered it. And if you're like me, you fall so in love with the truth inside of you, with the love that is your essence, the peace that is your soul, that like me, you'll do anything to clear whatever blocks you or shuts you down or holds you back on any level of being. So if I had to say, what is the journey really about? It's about getting real, cracking through this mask, opening down through the layers of the pain, the shutdown, the lies and limitations, into the infinite self, into that enlightened awareness that I call source. And it's at this deepest level, the level of the soul, that you turn the flashlight on and you go on a journey inside your body to specific cellular locations and you uncover the old programming there, the old pain. You're guided by your soul to these cellular locations and you uncover and release that stored, all the words and the pain and the shutdown and all that couldn't be spoken at the time. And you go through a process of not only releasing, but understanding, ultimately forgiveness, where you forgive the other persons, you forgive yourself, God, life, so that when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. And so that is the journey in a nutshell. And I would love, love, love to be able to take you on a journey tonight, but I can't because it's actually a 2-day immersive workshop. But if you're willing, I'd like to take you into a very short guided introspection where you can begin to uncover some of the issues, the themes that are stored inside your body. And I call it the gentle welcome because that's what it is. It's with you going inside the body to specific areas where you feel pulled to go, to uncover what's stored there and to come to a place of acceptance and neutrality. So if you'd like to do another little mini discovery session with me, let's all take a nice deep breath in, letting it out, closing the eyes, and once again, breathing openness into the room and the willingness to expose whatever's here that your body's ready and willing to expose. It'll never give you something you're not ready to meet and feel. So trusting your body and breathing that willingness and that trust into the room, trusting yourself, life, grace, your soul's prayer to begin just this little taste of what it is to begin this journey of befriending your body, listening to your body, opening with what's stored inside. And so letting your heart be as wide as the world, a vast open sky of all acceptance, of all that exists inside of you. And now turning your gaze inside the body. And you know your body is like this container full of all kinds of emotions. And our emotions, they're like little kids. Some of our feelings, they're loud and attention-seeking. And some of our emotions, they're shy and scared. Some of your feelings, you've rejected them so many times that like a little rejected child, They hide underneath lids or behind closed doors, don't even come up anymore. And so you might like to put out to your body that for once, you're willing to listen today. For once, you're going to be present. You're going to let the body reveal what it wants to reveal. And you might even say you're sorry for having denied it, pushed it away, hidden from it, run from the emotions. Instead, just saying you're going to create a heartfelt welcome here. Now, locating in your body, someplace where you may feel a little tension or stress or holding or contraction or hiding going on, locate that area right now where there's some sort of tension or holding or contraction going on. Take a deep breath in of acceptance and flooding that area with acceptance, letting it soften that area and tenderize that area, letting that area open up. And if there were a feeling stored there, what might that feeling be? It might be quiet as a whisper. But if there were a feeling stored there, what might that feeling be? Or if this area could speak and had words, what might it say right now? Give it a voice. If this area could speak, what would it say right now? As you listen to the words, how do they make you feel emotionally? Perhaps there's a picture. If there is a picture of some kind, step into it. How are you feeling in that picture? Or maybe it feels like there's a lid over this area. Something's blocking this area. Let's assume that there might be a lid here. And the same way you'd peel the lid back on a can of peanuts, take hold of this lid and right now lift it off. What's hiding here? Welcoming whatever's here and also whatever's not here. Taking a deep breath in of acceptance, flooding that area with acceptance, and now coming to neutral inside your body. And then finding a different area where there might be a little tension or stress or holding or hiding or some sort of contraction going on or twitch. Find that area right now, locate it. Taking a deep breath in of acceptance, flooding the area with acceptance, and let it soften that area. Let it marinate that area, tenderize it. Feel like that area is beginning to soften and open. And if there were a feeling hidden there, what might that feeling be? It might be as quiet as a whisper. But if there were a feeling, what might it be? And if this area could speak and had words, what would it say right now? Give it a voice. As you listen to the voice, how does it make you feel emotionally? Or perhaps there is a picture. If there is a picture, step into it. How are you feeling in that picture? Or perhaps there is this lid. If there is, take hold of it and lift it off right now. What's hiding here? Just bathing it in all of acceptance, all love. And now coming to neutral inside yourself. And if it feels appropriate, you might like to say to your body that you're going to starting today, to begin toe dipping like this into listening to your body, being present, being open to what feelings are here, and that you're going to be open and present to it, and flooding your body now with this acceptance. And now, once again, letting the heart be as wide as the world, wide enough to welcome all that is here inside of you. A vast, open sky, all acceptance. Taking a nice deep breath in and letting it out. Another nice deep breath in. Sighing it out. And you can open your eyes now into this field of awareness. Opening your eyes now. Now, some of you may have been willing to do this divine experiment and just befriend your body a little bit and actually allowed some emotions to come up. And for some of you, you may have discovered there's some very deep things buried there. And I'd love to hear some of what you uncovered. Just in this, we just did just a tiny little mini exploration. But some of you may have begun to uncover there's some deeply buried emotional issues there. So I'd like to welcome you to write that in the chat box and just let us know what are some of the emotions you uncovered. And my prayer for all of you as you're writing right now is that you begin this process of listening to your body, uncovering what's there, and that you'll listen to your heart's pull, to listen to the soul's guidance, to really go on your own journey inside, to discover what's really going on, what is causing all the stress in your life right now. And so, Daniel, I wonder if you might read out if some of the people have been sharing.
Yeah, my first share was from Gussie. She writes abandonment.
Wow.
Sharples writes, I'm in so much pain. So Thierry, it is truly safe to fully feel all my emotions, even the intense one. So that's Hussein,
amazing.
Fear of being judged, not being accepted, also abandonment.
Wow.
More to come.
Yeah, these emotions that you're describing are usually ones that are quite down. You know how I said we go down through the different layers of the lies, the pain, and the shutdown. And some of the ones you're describing, like abandonment, the fear of judgment, like this, these are usually quite deep down the layers. And so you're beginning to uncover some of the deeper issues. And what my prayer is for you for the session is that if you have uncovered something, it's your body talking to you. That my prayer is that you befriend your body during this session and that you begin this taking tiny steps towards your journey home to healing and your journey home to yourself. And so my deepest prayer for all of you is that you find a way to open into this infinite intelligence, into the vast field of love that is your essence, and that you're guided by that to the cellular locations to clear and let go, release, forgive, so that when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness. And to that end, we do have a journey intensive coming up here in July And I'm sure Daniel will be able to share a lot more about it. But what happens is it's a 2-day deeply immersive retreat where I'm giving you the teachings, the meditations, the guided introspections, and then you're pairing up with someone in that afternoon, and with the support of the embrace of journey practitioners, you'll go through one-to-one emotional journey work, physical journey work, and then you get a bonus day of the advanced skills day where you really learn how to clear very deep blocks. And so it's a deeply immersive retreat for those lovers of truth who are really saying, you know what, I I dearly love myself, and I'm ready now to clear whatever blocks me, whatever holds me back, whatever shuts me down on any level of being. I'm ready to take the lampshade off my own light. And so I believe it wasn't me that brought you here, and it wasn't the journey that brought you here. I believe your own soul brought you here to listen and to begin your journey with yourself. So listen to your heart, and if you're feeling pulled, it's an incredible, beautiful gift that Daniel will be sharing with you, that they're going to be offering this July. So I pray I see you at the upcoming Journey Intensive. And I'll pass you over to Daniel right now, who can share with you how you can begin your journey.
Mm. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you so much for your time tonight. And I've been to quite a few of these beautiful events with you, not just the discoveries like tonight. And I want to honor every single one who shared tonight volubly, who actually was able to close their eyes and do these tiny experiences, as Brandon said. But I'm really here to nudge you, to invite you to actually learn those tools, to come to the Journey Intensive. I have something very special for you that we've never done before. We put together an amazing package for you that is only available for the ones here tonight. And I would like to share it with you in just a minute. I want to also acknowledge some of the shares that I couldn't read out to Brandon. Sotiris, Paola, also Mark, beautiful shares, and Mariella. And what I learned with the journey, I was outwardly a successful person, but I hadn't actually felt anything. I didn't know how to feel. So the science of how this all works and the experience is really only clear to me since I've been with the journey, that these emotions are here to tell you something, that many or most of them are absolutely safe to feel, and we can learn how to do that in a safe environment. So the Journey Intensive is exactly that. In just 2 days, from the comfort of your home, you can learn the two very important process types: a physical journey, traveling inside your body, as Brandon shared, and the emotional journey, how to go through the layers. Sotiris shared here, is it safe to feel vast openness and spaciousness? And I had to smile internally, because that's what we want to feel. We want to feel that safety, that spaciousness, because we're so much more than our little thoughts and emotions and the story of ourselves. So I want to really encourage you to look at what we have for you here. I got a few slides I brought with me, very, very simply, to just make sure that I don't forget any of the parts I want to offer you. Let me just bring them up for you right here. And if you are still here, then I really feel this is for you. Let me get started. So the first thing I'd like to share, can I just have a quick thumbs up or something if you actually see the screen, if you see that, just a little thumbs up so I can say thank you, Mark. Thank you. Beautiful. So the first thing that we have for you today is quite special, and it means you can actually attend the 2-day Journey Intensive coming up next weekend, 26th, 27th of July, for just 97 euros instead of 297. So you're saving 200 euros. That's tonight's special webinar deal. Now, I would ask my team to please put the link to the Journey Intensive sign up page directly into the chat. But if you want, you can also scan it with your mobile phone. I've seen people do that. It's quite cool. If you want to do it, you just scan this QR code on the screen and you can go directly there. and you can get one of the remaining places for the 2-day journey intensive. As I said, it's a live event, but done from the comfort of your home. We call this the European event because it is in European time zones. But of course, wherever you are in the world, you can come and join us here. The event runs all day Saturday, all day Sunday. More of the questions answered directly on the page. I also want to share something we've never done before. We put a wild bonus package together. We call it the Summer Madness. And we have 10 life-changing bonuses that you get. I want to highlight just 3 of them right now for you and then summarize the other ones. But the first thing is that after the event, a few days later, there is a live group integration call. It is so important after a deep experience like a journey intensive that is unearthing and uncovering so many things that we have an integration call. And in the week after the journey intensive, there is a live post-event support call. That is, of course, free for you. It's a bonus when you sign up tonight for just 97. We have also, as Brandon mentioned, a bonus day. So there is a third day. Monday is our bonus day. We call it the Advanced Skills Day. And if you're free on Monday, I encourage you to attend that bonus day. You learn 6 additional tools to clear major blocks, to get even more fluid in the work. And you know what? These are all recorded, so you can actually later on for weeks, I think for 2 weeks or 2 months, you have access to the recordings from the event, so you can actually watch them later as well. The third massive bonus is you get a 30-minute one-to-one call. We call it a courtesy call, but it is more than that because it is a journey practitioner, somebody who's been through the work, who's been with us for years and had to go through many, many retreats and many, many different processes to make these calls with you. So we want to really check in with you and see how we can continue to support you. We believe that the Journey Intensive is just the beginning. Actually, everybody here in the team knows that it's just the beginning, but we want to make this first step as easy as possible for you. So you get a one-to-one call with the Journey practitioner, a follow-up call, one-to-one. And again, if that interests you, sign up right now. Go to thejourneyintensive.com or the link that our team has put in the chat. But there is even more than that. So this is a 30 plus years genius event in the making. Brandon has consistently improved and tweaked it, but it's been there for over 30 years. Over tens of thousands of people from all over the world have been coming to these events and healing physically, emotionally, mentally, and at spiritual breakthroughs. So let me go through something that we've never done before, which is a crazy idea. But you know, we said, why don't we offer a money back guarantee? I don't think it's something people normally do for live events, but we want to make sure that if for whatever reason you don't feel that this event has been life-changing or has been profound for you, I want to make sure that the 97 euros, a very humble investment, is definitely not some money you lose. But if you, after the 2 days with us, say, you know what, that event wasn't for me, or even a few days after, you know, you're feeling this wasn't a deep transformative experience, just let us know. We will refund the whole of your money without any question asked. I've never done this before. I think it is a bit of a wild idea, but you know what? In the many years I'm with the journey, almost 10 years, I think I remember one refund back in 2020 where one person just really misunderstood what this event was about and really didn't like it. But genuinely, if you are here, if you have been through the experience with Brandon, if you are listening to my voice, I'm 99% sure it is for you. And if the 1% I'm not sure, this is covered by our 100% money back guarantee. I also want to share with you just 1 or 2 or 3 of these tens of thousands of stories. Alan here, who went to a journey intensive over 20 years ago. And he says here in this story that he posted us just last year that most likely this has saved his marriage. So coming to the journey intensive has most likely saved his marriage. Or Maria, who says she got back on her feet after a serious burnout. This again, a testimonial from last year. And we have Eunice here who says the journey has helped her to clear deep-seated trauma. Now, I know Eunice personally, and her story is quite extraordinary, But without the journey, she would not be able to live a normal life like she is today. So I really hope that some of this inspires you. Let me summarize what is available to you here tonight. The Journey Intensive is happening next weekend, 26th, 27th of July, European time zone. We have also an event happening for Australia. So if you're dialing in from Australia, very different time zone, but we have an event at the same time. And if you are free on the 28th, Monday, that's your bonus day, then please, please, please show up as well. So the bonus is, number one, you get it for 97 euros instead of 297, saving in 200 pounds or 200 euros. You're getting bonus one, the group integration call, a 1 hour post-event support call. You're getting the advanced skill bonus day, even more tools, 6 additional tools to clear major blocks. That's on the 28th. And you're also getting a courtesy call, a one-to-one call with the Journey practitioner. But there are more bonuses. For example, we're also going to give you the Journey ebook, Brandon's international bestseller, including the process scripts. Brandon has written an international bestseller that sold over 1 million copies. Now, it's not easily available in bookshops anymore, so we give you directly the PDF, the ebook, so you can read her extraordinary story. She highlighted some of it in the story today. That book has changed thousands of people's lives. As a matter of fact, the book is the reason I came to the journey. After reading it, I went to Prague. I saw Brandon live. Back then, we only had live events. It wasn't online. And I saw her and it changed my life. Light in the Heart of Darkness, a second ebook. Kevin's partner and co-founder of the Journey, he has suffered before the journey from over 2 decades of severe depression, many of those years on extreme medication. And Kevin has, through the journey, been able to clear this. So not only is the Light in the Heart of Darkness a testimony to the power of the journey, it is also a heart-wrenching account of his own life, a story, and it includes exercises that you can help if you're feeling depression. Now, obviously, if you're diagnosed in your medication, this is a story to read and to take advantage of the tools that are available to you. There is a beautiful meditation called the Healing Breath Meditation. Also, this we give you as a gift. And if I can just ask I can see a lot of activity in the chat box, but I can't read it right now. If I can just ask the team to please put in the link directly to the sign-up page, because we have this bonus stack for the people here tonight with us. Healing Breath Meditation. You heard Brandon tonight guiding you. I love her meditations. They always take me to a really deep place. And this is an audio you can download, and it will help you to relax instantly whenever you wish. This is yours to keep, of course. We also have a valuable video course we recorded a couple of years ago that Brandon did, called Welcoming Healthy Abundance. Abundance is very much misunderstood. Often people just think it's about having more money or having wealth, but abundance in all areas of life, in relationships, in connection to yourself, in the richness of life, is something that is really, really special. And Brandon has recorded a small video course to give you a taster of how this can be fundamentally established in your life. We also have the opportunity that you can have a one-to-one call with an accredited journey practitioner. This is particularly if the work resonates with you and you want to go further. We want to show you, we want to talk to you, what is the best way forward. That's available to you free as well. And once you are a Journey Intensive graduate, you also qualify for the Abundance Retreat, one of our most loved retreats. We have one coming up towards the end of summer. And because of your attendance of the event, you are actually getting massive discounts on future courses and an additional clarity call. If you are joining us in future events, you can save up to 1,294 euros. And then last but not least, we have a beautiful private community. Yes, we have a Facebook group. Please join that. But we also have a private community in our private network where a lot of the exchanges happen. Once you have been on the journey, you get invited into this private community. And many people call that their home online, where you exchange and where we go further. So I really hope that one or all of these bonuses make your decision even easier. To be honest, just by itself, I paid multiple times what is on offer here tonight, to fly to Prague, to be in a hotel, to be in an event For tonight, just 97 for anybody who's here in the webinar. Plus, for the first 10 people, we have an incredible bonus stack. So if you are right now thinking, should I not, just do it. It is covered by a 100% money back guarantee. So it's very easy. Sign up right now, choose the event date. These events are limited, by the way. We have such a high ratio of trainers and support staff at these events that we really have to lock the door at one point. Obviously, tonight we're still open. So if you are feeling that this could be for you, if you had a little experience tonight, I urge you, I invite you, go and do it. So that's the last slide of my little presentation. Thank you so much. Go there, thejourneyintensive.com, scan the QR code, be the one who experiences this next weekend, 26th, 27th of July, European time zones. If for whatever reason the date doesn't suit you, there is a little button on the Journey Intensive page where you can see the other events, alternative dates, alternative times, and you still qualify for the incredible bonus stack that I shared with you tonight. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm open for questions, and I can ask, please, Chris, to leave that slide or a similar slide up. Please let me know if there are any questions that I can answer. Oh, something very interesting I've forgotten as well. There's one more thing that's happening here tonight, which is we're actually having a prize draw of somebody here will be winning a free place at the Journey Intensive. So not only do we give it away at just 97 euros, not only do we have the most insane bonus stack for this, we also want to do a raffle, a prize draw for somebody still being here. So if I can please ask the team to use the beautiful kind of randomizer and let me know who is the winner of tonight's Journey Intensive. Okay. All right. The team has spoken. The winner of tonight's free place on the Journey Intensive is Ruth Gade. Ruth, are you still here? Oh, I can see you. You're right here on top of my screen. Please feel free to unmute yourself. Say hello, Ruth. Hey, Ruth.
Hi. Do you hear me?
I hear you. I hope
Yeah,
you're free
hi.
next weekend, Ruth.
No.
Okay, we'll have to find an alternative date for you. But you have won a free place at the Journey Intensive of your choosing. Please just send an email to support@thejourney.com to claim your prize, and we'll get in touch with you and we'll figure out which day you can do. We have one coming up after summer. Well done. I mean, well done. Well done for being here, I guess. You haven't
Yeah.
really had to do
Yeah,
any hardships to win that prize.
was a surprise. So I just thought I would hear another name, so that would be me. That's so. How long will this meeting will be? How
The
long?
Journey Intensive is 9 to literally full days on Saturday and Sunday. So they're 2 full days.
But
That's
not for me then.
no, for you, they're winning the Journey Intensive. All you have to do is writing to us, and we talk to you or write to you which dates you can choose, and we pick one of the next events. You
Okay,
just
and that would be 2 days then.
yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well done, Ruth. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. So I will look at the email, Daniel, and then I will write.
Yes, that'd be sweet. So if you just write to us, Ruth, at
Okay.
support@thejourney.com. And
Okay.
Mark sends his congratulations from Amsterdam, and Gussie as well. And it looks like Gussie has signed up for a North America Journey Intensive. Beautiful, wonderful. So, are there any questions I can help you answer? There are any questions? And Chris, if you want, if you can just bring up the last slide we had with the link to the Journey Intensive. Thank you. And yeah, I think you have been posted the link a couple of times. So just go to thejourneyintensive.com to take advantage of this bonus stack. Are there any questions about the event, the journey in itself, what happened tonight? anything, feel free to chat. If not, then we can. That's a massive thing. Thank you, Ollie. That looks really massive what you posted in there. Yes, if there are any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I want to thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for your willingness to play, to join Brandon, to be part of these introspections. And if anything, really, I encourage you to take the next step, experience the journey intensive, learn the tools that will stay with you forever. It has changed how I look at life, how I relate, how I do business, how I am with myself. The whole purpose question, everything has improved and has cleared since I've been doing this wonderful work. So I encourage you. Thank you, Catherine. So Teres, you ask if there is a journey near Cyprus or Greece. Now, remember, this is an online event. So if you're in Cyprus, you can absolutely join us in our European event that happens next weekend. I already said earlier, we call it Europe because of the time zones. This is run from 9 a.m. Till about 6, 7 in the evening in European time zones. But anybody can attend. And if the European time zone doesn't fit for you, we also have the opportunity to join Australia or North America. Please go to the page, thejourneyintensive.com, and you can see the other events there as well. Wonderful. Okay, if there are no more questions, then I want to say just big thank you for being here tonight. Wishing you a blessed life. Have a beautiful evening. Enjoy the summer. I think for most of Europe, it's super sunny. I heard beautiful reports from all over Europe that it's nice and warm. So enjoy the rest of your evening. It's been a pleasure being here tonight. And I hope to see you at the Journey Intensive or one of our events very, very soon. Question from Catherine. Is it only in English? Are there also other languages? We also have other language events, Catherine. If you're looking for French, we often have translations. What I would recommend, Catherine, please send a short email to support@thejourney.com, and then they can help you out. The team can help you out and find an event that is run in your mother tongue. We have events normally translated into German, into Czech, into French, into Estonian. So we have multiple languages around the world, but obviously tonight we focused on Europe and English. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Any questions, feel free to send us an email to support@thejourney.com. And Chris will play a little video just to finish off. Thank you and good night.
My biggest win with the journey was bring to me.
It really has
emotions and free myself from them. I feel more calm and serene.
I found my true calling, and now today I can help others. I love to make an impact. I love to see transformation in others' lives.
For years and years, I used to feel very lonely, and now I just feel a part of everything. I feel I'm alive.
My biggest win with joining the practitioner program is owning my own life back and stepping out of a severe PTSD.
The acceptance of myself and the self-love, so I don't need others to love me. That's perfectly okay.
Life is different now because of joining the journey, because I just live in so much abundance. I get up every day with a joy for living. I want to go to work. I want to meet other people.
My biggest win was the really deep knowing I actually do have the answers. They are within me.
There is a lot more certainty and openness into where I'm heading and how I'm feeling about things.
I feel more connected to life. It's not an easy path for anyone to do healing work, but it's profound.
One, I'm more balanced. Two, I'm more grateful for those persons who helped me in this life. I enrich my life every day with this wisdom.
It's priceless. There's no better, bigger investment we can do in time, money, or energy.
I was a mess before I started with this work, and
I healed from lots of different type of abuse, and that's a miracle.
My life now, because of the journey, is transformed. I have confidence, even if I struggle. It's just I have to let go. It's step after step, and it's no danger at the end.
My biggest win is myself. It doesn't have to be anything else. You can be fulfilled even if you only have yourself.
It's more peaceful. I've learned to process emotions. I learned to be more self-aware, and I've learned when you need to ask for help.
I've been able to have a really deep, long, soulful look at myself, and I've been able to uncover, recover, and heal long-term wounds.
My biggest win being a journey practitioner has been becoming a therapist and a healer, because that's what I never ever imagined it to be.
I'm living from a place of freedom and choice. I'm really conscious in every moment. Any sentence I say, it's coming from just pure goodness.
I feel more authentic, wearing much less of a mask. It's about being you and feeling good about it.
I can embrace all that is. I'm here to share my life, my joy. Now I can just be me.
My own journey of healing from cancer is an inspiration for others. I get to work with amazing people, see amazing transformations in their life.
My biggest win is to be yourself. Just be there for other people, to help other people heal, and just to be there.
I know that no matter what comes, I have the right instrument to deal with whatever emotions every situation will bring to me.
It really has helped me come back to a place of wholeness. I feel like completely authentic. I feel genuine. I feel like I'm in my body.
My big win is my courage and my physical healing, my emotional healing. But in one word, I could say freedom.
The journey is all about releasing all of the emotions that create the illness. I was healed physically within 6 weeks, while I had been in pain over 3.5 years.